What's up, guys? My name is Chris from Vogus Prospecting, and today I will be answering patron questions. This is the opportunity for patrons to ask questions regarding everything they've seen on Vogus Prospecting and have them answered in video format. So, if you would like an opportunity to ask me a question about prospecting or PTSD or whatever it might be that you've seen on my channel, joining Patreon costs $1.50. Right, all the advertising bull crap out of the way. We got 3 questions today, and I'm going to make them really concise because they all kind of relate to each other. We'll read it out. Okay, I got 2 straight up that kind of relate to each other very intimately. And the first one is from Jonathan Bennett. My family are doing a prospecting tour of Victoria next school holidays with our camper trailer. Would love to know where we can legally go and places that are good camping spots for the kids. Now, the next question, I don't have their name in front of me. I don't know why I don't have their name, but their question is, Hi Chris, where would be a good place to try for the first time in Victoria? My 18-year-old autistic daughter loves your videos and wants to give panning a go. We are in southwest Victoria on the coast, so I doubt there is much near us. Hope you can give me a few ideas. Now, you see how those questions kind of relate together. So what I'm going to do is give you guys my how I started finding spots. And the first one was really simple. I literally just got on Google and I typed in my town name and the words gold rush. And then when gold rush kind of ran out of leads, I typed in alluvial gold. And the more keywords I learned about gold prospecting, I just kept typing them in with town names that were around me. And the amount of towns that came up that had gold rushes and big gold industry and were literally established because of gold and the miners that came over on boats and from all across Australia in the 1800s absolutely astounded me. So, no matter where you are in any country across the world, and if you're interested in gold prospecting, the first thing you should be doing is exactly that, Googling your town name with the word gold or alluvial gold next to it. Gold tends to bring up jewelry shops, whereas alluvial gold will bring up historical articles. Now, historical articles will give you a bit of an idea on where the gold rushes happened. So, for instance, my town is called Beechworth, and I could type in Beechworth and the words gold prospecting, and it would give me a big list of gold fields. So, creek names, the names of famous miners and mines in the area, and quite often it will also bring up the Tourist Information Centre. Now, tourist information centers are amazing. A lot of the tourist boards in gold towns have maps that they can give you or email you that show you exactly where you can and can't prospect in that local area. So the first step, Google your town names and see where your closest goldfield is that piques your interest enough to travel out there and have a look, and then contact those tourist information centers and see if they have got any maps available for you. That's how I started tackling it, and I found amazing creeks that I still visit today using that method. Now, as far as camping spots in Victoria that are kid friendly, I can only really talk about my local area because that's what I know intimately. The first one that everyone knows about, that I talk about regularly and I prospect on, is Reedy Creek. Now, Reedy Creek is an incredibly rich creek. It's one of the richest alluvial streams in the entire world. It is literally almost impossible not to find gold there. Sure, you'll get a few pans where you get skunked, but most of the time you'll find a speck or two in almost every pan. And the campsites there are numerous. The creek is over 20 kilometers long and it has campsites literally every couple hundred meters, some of which are so easy to access you could drive a two-wheel car within 3 or 4 meters of the creek edge. I don't suggest camping there because you do get flash floods, but you get the idea. It's super easy to access. So Reedy Creek's the first one. The second one is the Buckland Valley. Now, the Buckland Valley has much bigger gold than Reedy Creek. It has unbelievable mining history. I have found hard rock mines up there. I've found drift mines. I've found huge hydraulic pits. Me and a mate pulled out a total of 15 grams of gold off one corner using a high banker, and the test pans were only showing a couple of flakes per pan. Unbelievable gold. Very similar to Reedy Creek in terms of campsites. Numerous campsites, plenty of places to pull up, easy access to the creek in some spots, but I strongly suggest not taking your dog up there. They do aerial baiting programs, and the last thing I want is anyone to lose their dog just to try and chase a little bit of gold. So if you have a dog, don't take it to the Buckland Valley. That's my number one tip. When it comes to first-time panners, so if your daughter is looking at getting into gold panning and she has never done it before, the first thing I suggest is buying some pay dirt and having a go at home. Because if you buy pay dirt from a reputable dealer, you're guaranteed to get some gold. So you'll get the authentic feel of actually finding the gold, and it'll teach you how to properly pan. Now, there are numerous guides on how to pan on YouTube and online, and indeed, if you buy a panning kit from Garrett or MindLab, you will get instructions either printed on the pan, on the box, or in an instruction booklet inside on how to do it. And the whole venture will probably cost you maybe a couple $100 if you buy like the best of the best panning kit and some halfway decent pay dirt that might have half to 1 gram guaranteed in it. If you want to know where to buy pay dirt, my suggestion is to look up the YouTube channel Klesh. He has an entire, very unbiased, quite well put together and well constructed series on reviewing pay dirts. And like, I can't find anyone else on YouTube that has either the quantity of videos that he has done on pay dirt companies from right across the world, including several companies from Australia that got quite good reviews, as well as the very unbiased nature that he goes about producing those videos. He uses decoys, he uses false names to buy the pay dirt so they don't get salted, so they don't get extras added into them because they know they're going to get reviewed. And that means you can buy with a level of confidence from some of those pay dirt vendors that he has reviewed and avoid the bad ones. That will give you the authentic experience of finding gold, and it will give you the opportunity to get used to using your equipment before you take it out into the bush and try it for real. There is something we have to talk about, which is licensing. Regardless of where you are in the world, there is a really good chance that you're going to need some kind of license to do gold prospecting. Here in Victoria, it's called a miner's right. It costs $25 and it lasts for 10 years, so it's really good value. You can buy them online or you can buy them from tourist information centers in some historic gold towns. Make sure that you get that squared away. Again, Google is your friend in this case. You can literally just sit down and type in, say, Alberta prospecting laws or Alberta prospecting regulations, and it should start bringing up information about your local associations, such as the GPAA in America or the PMAV here in Victoria. Those associations are our governing bodies, and they will have a bucket load of information that they can give you if you contact them and say, hey, I'm a new prospector, I'm looking at prospecting around X town like Beechworth. Is there any resources you can give me or help me out to start? Now, the last question, I'm going to move straight on to this last question. Hopefully that's helped you guys out a little bit, is from Connor McGuire. He says, hey Chris, I've been watching your videos for years now and I love them. Me and my dad have been mucking around prospecting since Gold Rush Alaska first came out on TV. I know it's going to be pretty hard to leave that good gold down in Victoria, but do you have plans to do a bit of traveling, hitting different gold fields around Australia and possibly internationally, especially since you picked up the GPX 6000? And it's a good question because it's something I get asked all the time, and it does relate to the earlier questions. I struggle to travel. It's part of the symptoms I have with my level of PTSD at the moment. It's something I'm actively working to change. I really struggle to travel. I have flown to Canada and I panned with Pioneer Paulie on the creek. I have done a fair amount of travelling up through Ophir in the New South Wales goldfields, all the way up to the Central Coast and just up to the border of Queensland driving. I've recently been travelling in the Victorian goldfields, and I have a few trips planned in the very near future about that. But the biggest thing I am struggling with is my anxiety holding me back from doing those things. And I've discovered if I can give any bit of advice that's kind of worked for me, and hopefully will work for some other people who may be wanting to get out there and try prospecting for the first time, is that you need to find your motivation to go. What is the cornerstone for the reason for you to leave? And for me, it's video making. I love telling stories. I love sharing the experiences from the goldfields with everyone on YouTube and Facebook and all the other social medias that I've dabbled in. And if I can come up with that story, I will travel for it. For a lot of people, the gold is enough, but for me personally, it's the videos. So find that drive to take you past your anxiety, to get in the car and go do the thing. And I have never regretted a single trip I have done when I've had that motivation, when I've been like, yes, this is the thing I want to do, and I am going to put aside my anxiety. I will still feel it and I will still experience it, but I'm going to put it aside so that I can go and make my story, or in your case, it might be so I can go and try prospecting in this historic town that I'm really interested in. I'm going to leave it right there for tonight, guys. I hope those 3 questions kind of gave you an idea of how you could start gold prospecting and taking the first steps into your own version of a prospecting journey. I hope you've had a safe Easter filled with chocolate and hot cross buns. I will see you on the next video. See you guys.